Scott. Congratulations. How are you feeling? How are you feeling after?
Good. I think, I think the evening was really tastefully done with us raising the banner. Was obviously a huge concern once we found out we were playing them, and being respectful for that team and the Gold Club standards that they have over there, and Dean and his group. So I thought that the night started off appropriately with what we did, and I think the fans enjoyed it. And then we got down to grit and grind and playing hard, and not always pretty, but effective. So I thought it was really good across the board with our energy and being back in our building for the first time.
It's an interesting one. Did you feel like it was awkward to celebrate what you did last season because it was against Melbourne tonight? Did that make it a little bit awkward?
Well, that was the whole thing for me. Is I've never experienced that anywhere I've been, that you drop your banner against a team that you've played twice now to start the season. There's 8 other teams we could have played on this night. And again, trying to do it respectfully for them in a way that was tasteful enough was forefront of my mind back when I was in Florida, and they announced the schedule that I just didn't want to disrespect them. They're just too good of a club and got great people over there. And it was a little awkward for me. I don't know if that's the case over here, if that happens a lot, but where I'm from, you would never open up your banner dropping against the team you just played.
Yeah, I think Melbourne might have preferred it didn't happen as well. But,
Yep.
Aside from that, this felt like a Jack Jumpers performance in a lot of ways. You were gritty, you were physical, you were tough, you rebounded, and then you were efficient enough offensively to put enough points on the board to win. Is that how it felt to you?
Yeah, I told these guys that this. I think what happens every year is you start to compare teams or this or that, and this team's just got to have to find its own identity over the next few weeks of what it looks like for them and how we can play and be efficient in how we play. But our number one standard is to play defense, and then we have to figure out ways to score as we move through things. And so this group is going to find their way, and there are going to be some good moments and bad moments. But again, it was very gritty, and I just loved the fight that we had tonight, and finishing this game off. And Magne was wonderful on both ends of the floor, and we're just going to have to create a different kind of style to play this year, and morph into what we can be.
It's no surprise to see Will play like that because he's an Olympian now after all. But the physical tone that he set and the rim protection that he provided, that was so important for everything that you did tonight.
Yeah, listen, last year at some point, I think, for most of the first third of the season, we were around 8th defensively, and we were creeping in the right directions, and by the end of the season, we were number 1. And there's no coincidence that Will was playing his best basketball in those last 10 to 12 games to finish out the season, which got us up to being number 1 rated defensively last year. And he's a huge factor of being in there. And if you do make a mistake, at least he's at the rim, and we have another chance. And his importance is really, really important for us on how he goes about his business. And tremendous shot blocker, and obviously just a heck of a player.
Just to you, Will, before we get on to the game, pre-game, were you able to soak up and enjoy celebrating what you did last season, or what was it like doing that pre-game?
Yeah, it was amazing. I think not being able to win at home, and then obviously being able to celebrate, like Scott said, in a respectful way. There was never any animosity or anything towards Melbourne, and we just wanted to have a moment with the fans and the state that we could share with them. And it was awesome just seeing a few of those highlights, and had some shivers every now and then, and it was special when that banner dropped. And I think it was more for the fans. I think them being able to be a part of it with us, I think it was pretty cool.
It might have then been a little bit flat if you couldn't then go out and win a game, but to then have that celebration pre-game and then to celebrate a win with them again afterwards, that would have made it a night that you won't forget for a long time.
For sure. It was spoken about all week that obviously it was going to be happening, but to not let that carry over into the game. And yes, we're going to stand there and enjoy it, but don't carry on like tools and rub it in their faces and stuff like that. So we tried to just have a moment with the fans, and then we just regrouped, got out there and tried to play our best basketball.
as for the game itself, it looked like you had a lot of fun out there. At both ends of the floor, you were blocking shots, you were throwing down blocks, you were enjoying the physical battle. That's how it looked. How did it feel?
Yeah, fun.
How did you reflect on last Thursday? Because you probably had a tough first half of that game, but then you worked into it in the second half, and then you took a big hit late, but you did seem to get some momentum late in that game. How did you reflect on last week and then bring that into tonight?
Yeah, I think last week I was a bit sped up in my game and was trying to force things early. And, the coaches are so good, they just stick with me and, keep me confident and just give me little pointers through the game and through the week, watch a lot of film and what I can do better and just slowed myself down a little bit. And I think tonight just sort of letting Milton create some more stuff for me early and then working myself into the game a bit later, in my post work. And yeah, it just sort of all came together tonight. And, it's not going to be like that every night, but enjoyed it.
You had such a great partnership with Marcus last season. What's it now been like playing him twice in the last week and a bit?
Yeah, it's fun. I'm going to be happy to not play Melbourne for a while. I think it's my last 7 NBL games now I've been against Melbourne, so I'm a bit sick of them. But it's fun. He's a massive, or he was a massive factor for us last year. And he's a great person, a great human being, and fun, competitive. I got to block him and I rubbed it in his face that time. But anyway, we'll laugh about it later.
I was going to ask you that as well, Scott. That's 7 straight NBL games is all against the same opponent. It'll be nice next week to play somebody different.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, but yes, I really enjoy seeing someone else. But it is what it is, and to play them 7 straight times, and to move off of not seeing them for a while will be, I think, for both of us a big relief, and we can all both just move on, both teams, and do what we have to do to get ready for the next week.
There's a lot of things to like, but I thought what you got out of both Ruben and Craig in that position. I mean, Craig's still playing his feet, but he had some big moments, and that 3-point play early in the fourth quarter was massive, and then we know what Ruben can do, and then to see him hit a big shot late with what he brings defensively as well. I mean, both those guys really stepped up.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there, because obviously Ruben is everything that we thought he would be for us, because we just kind of simplified his game and just kept him at the 4 spot and not think too much other than these are the things we need to get done. And he's really cerebral and another just high character guy, and is allowing us to function and move the ball, and he just understands the game with that kind of experience, and he's just quite handy in a lot of areas, and he's part of our up the floor pressure, so he fits in beautifully. And then Chicken coming back for his first time to kind of get a taste of the NBL after getting bumped around in Singapore and then getting knocked out for a bit. It was good to get his feet underneath him, and that can only help him down the road as we continue to create more minutes for him. But he was quite handy and really, really good in the minutes he got.
Am I just totally out of touch, or am I missing something where his Chicken nickname comes from?
Well, he can tell you that story at some point, but basically when he was born, he was so small, his mom actually put him in a box. He was a premature baby, and they ended up putting him kind of in a box when they took him home, and his mom said he looked like a chicken. And at that point, it stayed with him till today, and he has a little bit better story than that, but that's kind of how it transpired. But he was a premature baby and super tiny, and from that point on, his mother was calling him Chicken all the time, and it just went through his family. And he's actually, quite good about calling him Chicken. He's actually, he probably responds to Chicken more than he does Craig. So one of the, I think, probably all-time classic nicknames that you can find.
I must admit, I would have never guessed that, so I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
Just lastly, this is a cigar well earned tonight.
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah. No, I'm excited again for the group and just getting this win under our belt to get moving forward. And I have a lot of cigars that I can end up smoking here eventually. But then just really proud of our group, really proud of our franchise and the people that put all the hard work to put this together for us, and Christine Finnegan and Steve Old and everyone that was involved with this presentation with the banner and just how we carried ourselves tonight, and just really proud of the franchise.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Yeah. Hey, Scott.
Hey.
Hey, Will.
Like,
Who is this?
Nick Randall here.
Hey.
Paul. Scott, obviously we've spoken at length about the kind of jam-packed schedule that you had, a lot going on in the build-up,
Yep.
but how important was that longer break to get home and prepare for tonight and I guess turn around that result from Newstead?
Yeah, I think everyone felt like, getting home was going to be a great remedy. And, for myself, I told these guys on Wednesday, like, I have to hit the reset button for myself just personally and just mentally to regroup. Because there's a lot of stuff going on with us off the court and obligations that all these guys end up having. And the work that we do in the community and, in Singapore, these guys are out in clinics and doing all these things that other teams are just not doing when they're on that trip to build our brand. And the amount of time we spend doing that can be quite a wear down factor just in itself. But I think being there this week and finally having our normal kind of practice week and preparation moving into this weekend, I think just settled the group in general. It did wonders for me, and I think Will would probably agree with just a good week of just doing what we do here and kind of getting back home was wonderful.
How did you find it, Will, having that, I guess spare time? I'm sure you would have got a couple of days off in there as well, that you probably haven't had for a while.
Yeah, it was good. Like for me personally, I think I've only been in Hobart for a week since I got back from the Olympics. So I was just jet setting and everywhere. So it was nice to finally do a weekly grocery shop and settle in and cook some food for myself and just reset. But I think we got to the airport and all the kids run up and hug all their dads and mums are there, and it's just I think that stuff's more important. And I got to reset the club, and there was a really good energy coming into practice on Monday, and I think you just felt the couple of days off we had. So it was a good week, and we'll build on to the next one.
Mate, you mentioned the Olympics, and we had a chat in Melbourne where you said to me, I know I belong. How much did that do for you, I guess, coming into this season, that experience?
Yeah, it's massive. I think it's a slightly different game, I guess, at that level. Your sort of role's more simplified and it's very specific. But just the confidence, to go out and know I can guard, sort of any big in the world and give it my best shot. And a lot of fun.
Scott, just on the pre-game celebrations, I guess, were you sort of concerned that, it'd fire United up or something like that? Was that sort of the thinking behind trying to be respectful and maybe keeping it a bit, low-key, I guess?
I mean, obviously, there's just a concern that you're dropping this banner to the team that you've been just battling, like really unbelievable games we've had with them, and just trying to be respectful to that. That was just the bottom line of that, and I thought we did a really good job of doing that for the 4 minutes, and we worked with United the last 2 or 3 weeks to make sure that they were comfortable with being off the floor in that certain amount of time, and we were very respectful of just not sticking it back in their face in any way, but allowing our fans really to celebrate. And so we worked, I had Christine Finnegan, and then worked closely with United's group, and we came to this happy medium, which I thought was good.
Yeah, right. So you actually had discussions with the other clubs?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I said before that they're a gold standard club. One of the teams, in my short time here, that have been at the top of how they go about their business. Dean's, in my opinion, the best coach in the NBL, and for us to slight them in any way would just be silly on our part. And it was a big thought of ours to get through this evening, again, in a very tasteful way, hopefully.
So I'm watching in Melbourne, and they noted in the commentary that you sort of weren't lined up with the players and other coaches. Did that play into that as well? Is that part of the reason why you just didn't feel comfortable being out there for it?
Well, the coaches, we stayed behind. It was just the players in the lineup. The coaches were under the tunnel, or I was under the tunnel. But listen, this league is really about the players. It's not about me or our coaches. The players drive this league, and they should get all the kudos they can. And I don't need to be out there to do that. I get to see that banner, 12 more times when I walk in this building, and I'll be quite proud of it.
Awesome. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Good. Thank you.